The WeightWatchers trap, why it fails and what you need to know. Are you tired of feeling misled by WeightWatchers' promises of quick weight loss and healthy living? If so, you're not alone. In this video, we're diving deep into the truth behind this popular diet brand to expose what's really going on. From the point system and the ultra-processed ultra-processed zero-point foods to the company's financial woes and why so many people become lifelong members without ever reaching their goals. You'll want to hear this. Let's peek behind the curtain and have a look at what WeightWatchers doesn't want us to know. And before we get into the nitty-gritty, if you're new here, I'm Voysey, a board-certified health coach. And yes, that means that I know my gut from my elbow, and that I'm one of those people that likes reading nutrition labels on food. I know, wild, right? This channel is all about ditching traditional diet culture, reversing chronic symptoms and making your health simple again. I used to be stuck in this awful cycle of overeating, calorie counting, then restriction, obsession, an eating disorder, eat less, move more. You know, finally I found the way out, and now I help other people to do the same. And once you learn what I'm going to teach you, you just can't unknow it. So let's jump right into the truth behind WeightWatchers and why you deserve so much better. Part 1. The point system is a blood sugar disaster. WeightWatchers has sold us this dream. Count points, eat what you love, lose weight. Suns amazingly simple, doesn't it? But here's the problem. The WeightWatchers point system doesn't take into account either blood sugar balance or your body's insulin response. You could use up your daily allowance on things like low-calorie bread, sugary yogurts, fibre bars made with glucose syrup or high fructose corn syrup, and eat all those things, and still you'd be considered to be on plan. All calories are not created equal, which is the basis for so much of what I talk about. When you eat those foods that spike your blood sugar, like that low-calorie American bread bun that I saw promoted in a WW influencer video recently. She was very excited because she'd found these low-calorie buns and they were really big and they were a whole packet, and all the comments were of people being excited too that, you know, their fellow WeightWatchers lifetime member had found this incredible product that was going to be so good for their diets. When you eat food like that, you trigger this massive insulin response, and that means your fat-burning switch just gets switched off. It's like riding a rickety old roller coaster with a blindfold, and then up you go with a quick high, arms in the air, thinking, woohoo, I'm flying, I'm winning, and then slam, you're plummeting down to craving town with a side of irritability and brain fog to boot. Energy crashes become your norm. You always snack and nibble between every meal because your brain is always telling you you are starving. Because you actually are. In fact, it's not actually that different from what scientists saw in the Minnesota starvation experiment during World War II. Men were restricted to just eating 1,570 calories a day, similar to what many people eat on WeightWatchers. And within months, they were obsessed with food, depressed, and physically unwell. That's how biologically unsustainable long-term restriction is. So the Minnesota starvation experiment took place between November 1944 and December 1945. And it was led by an American physiologist whose name was Ancel. And if you've watched my previous videos, you might remember that Ancel was the granddaddy of the whole cholesterol theory. He was the guy that came up with the cholesterol theory of heart disease. So Ancel took 36 healthy male volunteers, and they were all conscientious objectors to military service during World War II. So instead of going to war, they agreed to participate in this experiment, particularly as a way to help scientists understand how to refeed starving populations in Europe once the war was over. Did they volunteer? Well, yeah, they volunteered, but it wasn't for money or for prizes. So these were deeply idealistic men, many of them from pacifist religious groups like the Mennonites and the Quakers. And they felt morally compelled to help humanity in any way they could without actually bearing arms, without having to hurt anybody. And this was seen as a humanitarian mission. So what did they endure? They were given just 1,570 calories a day for 6 months with heavy physical activity. And they lost nearly 25% of their body weight. And they suffered severe emotional distress and depression and obsessive thoughts about food. And yes, one of the participants, Sam, was believed, and it was believed to be an act of desperation or possibly a mental breakdown, actually cut 3 of his fingers off, or attempted to cut off 3 of his fingers with an axe. So these people were then put through a refeeding phase, which offered critical insights into how best governments could help those recovering from a famine. But the experiment did come at a huge cost to those 36 men and both their physical and their mental health. So back to our Weight Watchers model. Your body thinks it's in a famine situation because of the continuous low calorie long-term restriction, and it's holding on to your fat stores, literally trying to save your health and your life. You're told you're doing it right, but your body is literally screaming at you that it's not right and we need to do something here. You cannot outsmart human biology with artificial sweeteners, low-calorie bridge rolls and air-puffed snacks. You just can't. Part 2. Lifelong membership equals lifelong frustration. Here's a telling statistic. Over 80% of people regain the weight they lost with Weight Watchers within 2 years. Why? Because the programme doesn't fix the root cause of their problem, i.e. metabolic dysfunction, but beyond that, behaviour doesn't train you differently. It doesn't, and it certainly doesn't train you out of having a sweet tooth, wanting to eat sweet foods, because you're eating them all the time and you're still, creating that response in your body. Craving, the more carbs you eat, the more carbs you crave. The business model depends on people not graduating. It's designed for ongoing membership, not long-term independence. You lose a few pounds, get a gold star, then life happens, the weight creeps back and boom, you're back paying again. Brilliant business model, right? It reminds me of the quote, which is often attributed to Albert Einstein, but there's actually no proof that he actually said this in the first place, but it's a really good quote. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, but expecting a different result. If it really worked long term, Weight Watchers wouldn't need a lifetime membership model. They wouldn't need it, would they? You've been sold a pup, as my dad would say. And just in case you're not British, that phrase dates back to the 19th century and it refers to an old scam where someone would sell a bag supposedly containing a valuable piglet, also known as a pig in a poke. But when the buyer opened the bag and they'd find, instead of a pig, they'd just find a worthless puppy. That's hence the expression, they'd been sold a pup. But my question would be, before you gave the money for the piglet, pig in a poke, wouldn't you check inside the bag? On to part 3. You cannot earn food through doing exercise. Weight Watchers also allows you to earn extra food points through doing more exercise, so more movement. So let's get this straight. You burn off 300 a 300 calorie walk, and then they tell you it's fine to eat an extra portion of low fat ice cream. This keeps you stuck in a diet culture loop that says food is a reward and exercise is a punishment. That's not sustainable, and it certainly doesn't heal your relationship with food or with your body. As Gary Taubes says, eat less, move more should actually be the advice given to people who want to build up a good appetite, because not eating tends to make us hungrier, and exercise burns energy and also makes us hungrier. And I'm not for 1 millisecond demonising exercise. Of course I'm not. It's essential for us to move ourselves every day. But as a method of weight control, the advice is all skew with. Part 4. the financial collapse. Even the business side is struggling. As of April 2024, WW International, formerly known as WeightWatchers, posted a net loss of $88 million, with their shares plummeting over 70% in the past year. The company is over $1.5 billion in debt, and the source of this information was MarketWatch and Yahoo Finance. This financial strain isn't just a corporate problem. It reflects a growing public distrust in outdated diet models. Hi, Mikey. Outdated diet models that don't deliver. Here, ready? Go on, go and get the ball. Don't deliver sustainable results. They're trying to rebrand by partnering with companies like Sequence, a telehealth platform prescribing GLP-1 drugs like Wegovy and Ozempic. Interestingly, WW doesn't have to repay that massive debt until 2028 or 2029, which some analysts suggest could be part of a longer-term plan or strategy to offload or restructure the whole company entirely. Translation: when the food plan that we gave you doesn't work, don't worry, we'll happily prescribe you a weight loss injection instead. So if you too are tired of yo-yo dieting and you really want to fix your metabolism for good, hit subscribe and watch my next video. You might like one of these two next. And if you'd like to subscribe to my email newsletter, Stronger, Leaner, Smarter, there's a link down in the description for that as well. It's time to nourish, not punish. It's time to break out of this ridiculous calorie counting scheme that's been going on for so long now. It doesn't work. Let it go and start eating properly. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate you. Keep it simple, stay strong, and don't fall for the points trap. Till next time, cheerio. Suddenly, a deluge came down the top of us. Oh, just saw the lightning. Just needed to record that last video a little bit quicker.